Now here's a nice spot for a little talk on this island, a nook on a small island on the Canadian Shield. I'm not in Canada, but the rock is the Canadian Shield. So as I said in the opening clip, I gave notice to my employer last week, and I accepted a new position. So it's not like I'm really going independent and rogue. I'm like going from one organization to another, but it's part of my process of living life more adventurously, right? Because so much of my life I've felt like I need protection, or I'm like, I almost think we're educated to think that we need job security when it doesn't exist. We need society to provide health insurance and benefits and Social Security and retirement benefits when it's all illusory, that it could all disappear at any time. I know people don't like to hear this, especially people who are depending on these benefits, but they are illusions, And do we really want to depend upon illusions? More importantly, I just want to live life with the freedom I used to feel in my 20s. There was a time in my late 20s when I was just literally camping randomly on the side of the road. I just go down a logging road and throw my tent down and camp. Or I spent a lot of time camping in Grand Marais, maybe at an official campground or unofficial. And I was dealing with a lot of things and processing a lot of trauma, family trauma, who knows, multi-generational things. And it was all part of my process. So I took on this new job, and it's not like it's not like I'm really like starting my own business. I mean, I do consult. I have done my own. I'm continuing to do that kind of thing. But I really just want to use this as a jumping off point. Like, I have demonstrated the courage to leave a secure position for something that has less security as measured by society, right? The new company or the new organization is much less guaranteed, right? It's a startup, so there's risk. But life is risk, and if I can get paid more, which I can, which I am going to be, I intend to save and use that money to jump to other things that are even more my dream, things related to doing more artistic things, craft things, perhaps a business involving experiencing the wilderness. I would love to have a business where I can just take people on hikes or canoe trips or adventures. We shall see. But yeah, so for me it was a big step this week to just say sayonara to my old employer, and it's so liberating. Like, it was, I was very. It's almost like I felt like I didn't have the right to leave, but I did it. I pulled the trigger, gave my boss a memo, told HR, and it's happened. And I think it's going to be the start of a lot of new adventures. I'll be able to work more remotely, although I have to deal with elder care, for my mother who suffers from dementia. Although we've had a lot of success treating her with traditional Chinese medicine and naturopathic remedies and other things, which I may talk about in a future video and article. I'd like to write about it because, again, it's astounding how much success I've had. My mother has had. A local man who was about the same level of dementia as my mother about 4 or 5 years ago. He has since died, and a very wealthy family, but that didn't save them in the mainstream medical system. Whereas my mother has, by some miracle, improved in the last year. It's quite astounding what you can do when you don't believe mainstream medicine, or at least try things. But anyway, so the elder care thing obviously will keep me somewhat restricted my movements for a while, but I'm hoping that, well, everything's temporary, right? Like, that won't last forever, and it's my choice. I can make a different choice, absolutely, and I think I'm going to start making a lot of different choices. But the main choice I'm making is to have faith in myself and my connection to the divine. As Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven lies within. We don't need a religion to save us. We don't need an institution to save us. We don't need a doctor or a psychologist to save us. We don't need a guru. We don't need a method, or we don't need a special techniques that take years to learn. We don't need to read 50 or hundreds of books, or even we don't even need to read 1 or 2 books about how to go forward in a better way. Now, books are great. I want to read more. That's another thing. But I want to be very selective in my reading. I think the first book I may reread is Henry David Thoreau's Walden, and wonderful, one of my favorite authors. Recently, inspired by the Mountain Dispatch on that. Just remembered how much Thoreau meant to me. I want to do more arts. I'd like to pick up painting again. I would like to do some writing. I have some ideas for books that are both kind of autobiographical and fictional. Even genre fiction. Like, I don't know. The sky's the limit. It's like when I sit in my new office in what used to be a junior high school but is now a community center built in the 30s, in that quiet office, my thoughts, it's almost like those thick brick walls are blocking energies that have been distracting me for years or decades. And maybe it's my imagination, maybe it's nonsense, but maybe there is something to the idea that Wi-Fi and cell phones, towers, and just endless vibrational patterns are affecting us. A lot of thinkers and even spiritual thinkers have said that there is a problem with the radio waves and energies and radiation that is hitting us. And if you can escape from it by getting into nature, like we are right now. Went on this little cruise on the lake with my son and his friend. Or maybe it is possible to, insulate yourself from it somehow. The main thing is to just disconnect spiritually and mentally from the modern world and the craziness there, which it's basically nonsense, illusion. The system uses fear, greed, lust, consumerism, endless wants, endless artificial needs to control us. So I'm just going to say no. I don't need. I need very little from the system. And yeah, sure. If I don't grow my own food, which I don't really right now. If I don't manufacture my own clothing, yeah, I need a few things from the system. But most of the artificial needs they inculcate in us are absolutely not necessary. So there you go. I think I'll turn this video off, and I may stitch the opening sequence in there. But yeah, thank you for watching if you did. And again, I know this was a very unstructured video, and in the future I intend to get my thoughts together before making the video. But I just wanted to put something out there while I was inspired by this little trip on the lake.